And you're very welcome to another edition of the programme. And this evening we're focusing on young people and on projects and businesses which target young people and their families. And we're starting in the National Gallery, no less, where very often the pictures inspire great creativity in people. And that was certainly the case with a particular drawing by Harry Clarke. It moved a designer to develop a kit through which young people could develop in turn their own creativity. Valerie Waters met up with the designer who spotted a gap in the children's arts and crafts market.
The delightful display in the window of the shop at the National Gallery of Ireland in Dublin shows a range of art and craft items for children. Amongst the books, cards and prints are the Planet Purple kits. They are made by Barbara Bradshaw, and her Elf Hill range are sold exclusively here at the gallery. She was influenced by this drawing by Harry Clarke, which she discovered in a box of greeting cards.
This is a pack that I came into the gallery one day and I found this. I took it home and I spent about 3 weeks redrawing every single one in here and trying to simplify them down. And this section here you can see is the Elf Hill, so that's the one that we ended up with.
This is the end result. These are 3 reusable notebooks, and Barbara has supplied all the pieces of material needed to assemble these decorative covers suitable for children from aged 8 upwards. There's a pencil case kit also based on Harry Clarke's drawing. The original is kept in the gallery's print room.
The Elf Hill is one of Harry Clarke's original illustrations to Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales. We acquired this magnificent collection in 2008, that's when it came into the gallery. It had been in a private collection in America for many, many years. We weren't aware of its whereabouts, so it was a real coup for the gallery to get such a beautiful collection of original illustrations by Harry Clarke, the very famous stained glass artist, but brilliant illustrator as well. This is a selection here of the original illustrations we have in the collection by Harry Clarke, and this is a wonderful tale denoting the Elf Hill, which Andersen talks about these elf maidens who are brought out at their father, the Elf King's feast as kind of potential brides, and they do this beautiful dance, and it's an exquisite illustration in that we have these elf maidens floating kind of with a beautiful theatrical backdrop of the moon behind them, and in the tale Andersen talks about them holding these beautiful shawls, displaying shafts of moonlight, kind of very much, I think, ahead of its time for 1914-15, but as you can see, it's still in absolutely wonderful condition.
These drawings are more delicate than oil paintings, and they would fade if they were exposed to light for long periods of time. This is why they are kept in storage in the print room, where there are 10,000 other works on paper in the collection. As a young man, Harry Clarke was keen to be a book illustrator, so he took his portfolio to Harrops of London just after he qualified from Art College in Dublin. He got his very first commission to illustrate the fairy tales of Hans Christian Andersen almost 100 years ago. Back at Barbara Bradshaw's house on Dublin's south side, a group of young friends arrive to test out the Planet Purple notebook kits. By spending time making their own books, they become aware of the drawing from whence the idea for their craft item came.
It was actually reasonably easy to convert 3 very simple book shapes, and I got 3 different books out of it. The problem I was having really was that it had to be simple enough for somebody as young as 8 to do it, and to try and keep the essence of the picture. And that really is all that I have done. It is a feeling of the picture more than anything else. Obviously you lose a massive amount of detail because Harry Clarke's drawings are absolutely beautiful, but their absolute detail is in there. Now we've had to strip the detail back, and we stripped it back to like 4 or 5 shapes and 3 or 4 colours per per kit is what it has to be stripped back to. As a unit, I think they work very well, and I think the idea with the gallery is they're pleased to be selling something that is Irish made by an Irish artist as well. It's so that whole kind of thing seems to suit them.
Barbara's background is in theatre, where she worked as a designer, mostly in set design. After nearly 20 years in the business, she wanted a change, and so she turned her designing talent to making crafts for children. She is a member of the Crafts Council of Ireland.
I do find though that people are very supportive in general if you have an Irish product and it is handmade in this country. There has been, particularly over this last Christmas, we noted that people came and very particularly asked where the products were made, and when they found they were made in Ireland they were purchasing immediately. So people are being very careful of how they're spending their money, but there's certainly, I've found, a huge support for anyone trying to make a living or keep a business going.
The group of pals here today are thoroughly enjoying their introduction to pattern cutting, sewing, and the skills which all young budding designers need.